Back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It is yours truly, Krystal Leandra. I've been gone for 5 months. Isn't that crazy? This is Ghost Girl Diaries, a paranormal podcast. Those of you that are brave enough to join the circle. Today I'm bringing in my co-host, Kat. We have a lot to catch up on. Hello, Kat Cormier. How are you? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. There you go.
Hello, how are you?
Yay!
Yay!
And
we're
everybody,
back.
let me know how audio is, guys, on your side. I know that everybody's probably going to be on different platforms because we're on like several platforms tonight live. But wow, I almost forgot how to stream. I was really nervous about streaming Ask Kat because I was like, literally, you looked at the date. What was the date? When was the last time we were streaming?
May 27th.
Wow. So
Isn't that crazy?
June, July, August, September, October. So yeah, we're going on 4 or 5 months, like 4.5 months. Basically, we've been gone. I hope everybody's doing lovely. I hope everybody had a wonderful summer, right? Like we just like skipped summer and just like moved forward to the next session.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. How was summer in New Hampshire? How was summer in New England?
Ungodly hot.
Really?
Like more than normal. Yeah. Like we don't have many 90-degree days in the summer, I feel like, here in New Hampshire, and it was like pretty consistent throughout the whole summer season.
Well, is it more humid or more hot or both?
It was both this year. I mean, the air quality was just rough.
Really?
It was just rough this summer. Yeah, it was really bad, which is strange because it cooled off so quickly for fall.
See, I used to hate doing summers in Florida with my dad because humidity is already bad in Florida. Like it sits so far south, like on the map. You know what I mean? Like it's already bad, but in the summer, it's just like extra bad. And I remember it just felt like you're breathing in water, like the humidity in Florida. I hated it.
Nope.
And like with my asthma, it was like, no, this is not good for your asthma.
This is not working.
Yeah.
So we're just going to shut your body down.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It pretty much just hurts my, all of the little like bubbles in my lungs are like fluidy, you know? So anyway, yeah, I feel you. But Vegas is just hot and dry. It's different. You know what I mean? Like I'm tired of it too. Like I'm ready for change. I'm ready for seasons. I miss seasons. That's something that's definitely changed in me since everything that's happened. And I really, growing up in Colorado, especially, like you have fall, you have winter. I'm not the biggest fan of winters. I'm going to be honest, but
yeah,
I'm willing to sacrifice to have a fall. You know what I mean? Like, because really Vegas has like spring and summer and that's it.
Yeah.
Like right now until about June, we're in spring, like continuously for the next, like, however. So it's like 70 degrees year round. It's great. I can't complain. Sure, you get some rain here and there, but like I don't know. I miss fall. I like to see the leaves turning and like, the fall crisp stuff. The
crispy leaves. The crispy leaves.
I like myself some
and
crispy
the cider.
Yeah. See, like they do have like hay rides and stuff here, but it's just not. It's not. Oh, I wasn't even on multi-stream. So if you guys are talking, I didn't see it till now. I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've been back.
Look, I didn't unmute my microphone, so we're all just trying to figure it out together.
I was really nervous to stream on tonight for like no reason. Like I know what I'm doing, but I haven't done it in like 5 months. So because of that, I'm just like, what's going on? So we have a lot to get. This is my life. Everything.
Literally.
So we have a lot to sort of catch up on. So I love you guys. I've been getting lots of messages from you guys. Those of you that follow my personal content know that I basically did start doing personal content. So I started doing like my makeup stuff. Like this is really request via you guys. you've been wanting to see my makeup and stuff. Like, how do you do your makeup? So I started that, and it kind of went well on TikTok. And honestly, it was a really, really good creative outlet for me to, close out all the really bad, dark stuff going on in my life and be able to just be creative. It was a really good outlet. And I just knew that I still wasn't ready to come back for Ghost Girl Diaries because, it's been like, I always call it, I've been chasing that dragon for so long, right? Like I've been on the journey of Ghost Girl Diaries for like over 10 years. Kat's obviously been on it for going on 4 or 5. And the hustle. I mean, like it really takes a hustle and it's a lot of work. Kat does all the social media management. She manages all the comments. So if Ghost Girl's ever like commenting back to you on social media, it's Kat. And sometimes Elfie helps, I help too. But so we want it to be us that's actually like talking to you guys. We don't want it to just be somebody that we hire. And then anything that we post online is me. And it's just a lot of work. And I just didn't want to jump back into it till I was ready. So we have a lot to catch up on. The first part of this stream is going to be personal. The first part of the stream is going to talk about some dark things that I've been through. And the second part is going to be, kind of some stuff that we've been following on social media, essentially. So, Kat, first of all, how are you? Where have you been for the last 5 months? How's life going? You're very busy. You have your hands in several pots right now. So let's talk about that.
Many different cauldrons. I have my hands in many different cauldrons. Yes. No, I've just been actually very busy with music. Mm-hmm. Theater kind of came back into my life randomly, unexpectedly. And, I feel like I took the summer for just, self-care. I feel like I've had a lot of change happen recently. And I've just been, I don't know, just taking it a day at a time.
Yeah, you kind of went through like your own death and rebirth. Definitely not as dark as mine, but we both had mm-hmm. one kind of, which is interesting.
Yeah, it was really interesting and grateful for, Krystal's support and all that. But then theater kind of came in. So I've been in rehearsals for a musical I'm doing called Jekyll and Hyde. And my character's name is Emma Carew. So I'm Dr. Jekyll's fiance in the show. I'm one of the supporting leads. And it's been a great show. Reintegrating myself back into rehearsals and theater life has been fun. It's been very fun. And I think a very healthy outlet for me in the interim of so much change. So, so that's pretty much just what I've been doing. And it's been really nice to be surrounded by some theater family and see some familiar faces and feel some familiar energy and, help out with GGD as well. And we're just keeping busy all the time. Mm-hmm. The work never stops. Mm-hmm. Work never stops. Even if we're not on as consistently, there's always some hustling going on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So we're really grateful for you guys and your patience with us. And we're really happy to be back. So yeah, timing is everything.
You used your theater as your creative outlet, and I used like makeup and fashion as my creative outlet. So that is interesting. We didn't even realize we both did that. We kind of like, okay, we
really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did opposite things, Mm-hmm. I feel like I've been more, I was on TikTok for a minute, but I feel more of a connection with Instagram. I feel like that's a way I can kind of connect with you guys more. It's a little bit easier for me to get content out that way. So I haven't had as much of a heavy presence on TikTok as Krystal has, but I'm on Instagram. So I'm hoping to get back on the TikTok fam when the show kind of dies down a little bit. The first show is coming up the weekend of Halloween. So perfect timing to have a spooky show. Mm-hmm. So I have lots of exciting things I want to integrate with TikTok and tarot and spooky things. All the spooky things.
Spooky girls.
Mm-hmm. Spooky. And GGD too. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're working on creating more content together too. We're actually getting ready to brainstorm here over the next couple of weeks. We would really like to do some sort of like spooky girl skits together.
Yes.
Yeah, but we haven't decided what or how to do yet. So like where Kat's at home, because obviously for now we live on opposite sides of the United States. I'm still wanting to move East Coast. That's kind of been my decision. I just need a change, like a life change. Even if it's part-time, even if I keep like a home in Vegas or something, I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet, but, we're wanting to do something where she films and then I film and then we like merge them together. And like, I don't know, we haven't decided yet, but hopefully something good will come out of it once we start brainstorming. So
I'm excited. We're so random when we do that too. It's like one of us gets an idea and then we're on the phone for like an hour and we're like, but what about this? Mm-hmm. And then we go to like plan and we're planning for like hours and hours because we get like really in detail and depth, and then it's like 20 minutes.
Well, we have really good balance between the two of us because, well, we both have Aries stelliums. I have 5 placements in Aries. Kat has 3 placements in Aries. And then we're both water rising signs. We're both air moons. And then I'm an earth sun and Kat is a fire sun. So I don't know, it just freaking works for some reason.
It does.
Yeah.
I feel like we understand each other to the point where we don't even have to like say anything. We just get it.
Yep.
It's an energy thing. I mean, it's been 5 years. It'd be 5 years in July.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years in July.
Yeah,
Crazy.
we're going to talk about that too. I know a lot of people have asked about, what's going on with GGD? Like, do I still want to get it signed? Let's like address a couple of things first. Over the summer, when I decided to take this sabbatical, rumors started to fly. And the rumors that started to, when you've been on YouTube as long as I have been, which is a ridiculous amount of years, the amount of views that I've gotten, you're going to get people that talk, right? Like people are going to say whatever they want to say. And unfortunately, like, don't ever listen to blogs, tabloids, like wait to hear from me or Kat or the source, because like people literally get bored and they just want to make up hurtful things and like create articles online. So there were articles online flying around, several different things. I got somehow mixed up in articles with Holly and Zach. I don't know how that happened. I have nothing to do with them. I have no hard feelings against Zach. There was rumors going around that Zach and I were feuding and fighting. What? I'm not mad at him. He's not mad at me. Who created that? Who created that? There's no hard feelings on, like, I don't have problems with anybody, to be honest with you. I just stay to myself. I do my own thing. And then the other thing of rumors that were flying was I quit GGD and like walked away. That's not true. That's like not even far, like close to the truth. And for someone to even create those blogs or content online is just bored people making shit up, honestly. And so yeah, none of that's true. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not feuding with anybody. I didn't quit GGD, but I did have like a massive sort of death and rebirth. So I think that's like the perfect segue. Did I cover that? You think that was good? Yeah,
I think that was good. I think it's really silly. I mean, it makes sense. We're in a fast-paced society. I think people see, silence as something happened. And sometimes silence is just you going through life, and you need a minute. And there's not necessarily always drama or there's not necessarily a problem with someone. It's just you. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's not you, it's me, literally.
Well, and honestly, like, I think being silent, though, like, it says that it's working because you're not talking to anybody and, like, you're minding your own business, and now all of a sudden, like, rumors are flying. It's, like, interesting. Like, this is interesting. This worked out this way because but the point of it was for me to be silent, and clearly it's working, and people don't like that. But, I didn't come back till now because I just haven't been ready. I also wanted to make sure that I came back and I was consistent with you guys. I don't want to, like, post one podcast and then come back. But, like, as most of you know, like, I really don't want to rehash my mom. There's already a podcast that's been done on this, but my mom essentially was murdered at the very end of December. She lasted on life support till the 17th of January, and then she passed away, and I was traumatized. Like that was my first death and rebirth. My mom was my best friend. I'm an only child. She raised me as a single parent. I was like beyond devastated. I'm still devastated. I'm not ever probably going to recover for that, honestly. And sort of like trying to hunker forward, I hired a bunch of attorneys. I spent a lot of money trying to sue and go after the person, hold the person liable that did it. And there's laws that protect this person. Blew a ridiculous amount of money trying to get justice for my mom. Didn't work, but that also put me in like a funk. You know what I mean? And in March, so I've talked publicly about step parents, but I've never talked publicly about my biological father. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We're going to kind of chat about some of that stuff. But my biological father, my stepmom passed away a few years ago. And he was very lonely after that because they'd been together since I was 8. And my mom, being the kind person that she was just always there for my dad. Like, she used to say, like, doesn't matter if you get married to someone or not. If you have a child with that person, it's not till you're 18. It's for life, period. Like, that doesn't just go away. Like, a lot of people like, oh, once you're 18, it's done. No, it's not. And like, same for my parents. Like, they split when I was 8, and they were still consistently in my life together forever. So my mom kind of became my dad's solid. I'm not going to say they were back together because they weren't. but she was definitely his emotional support after my stepmom died. And so when my mom died, it wrecked my dad. It just wrecked him, because really, as sad as this is going to sound, my mom was really my dad's only friend. And so when she died, and the way she died, her being murdered, like, he was just beside himself. He was not handling her death well. I mean, neither was I, if I'm being completely honest. I needed some time to process it by myself. I'm still processing it. I'm in a much better place than I was, let's say, in January, but like, this is going to be a long road to recovery. Like, you know, this wasn't just a typical death. This wasn't like she died after surgery. You know, she died in her sleep. She had a heart attack and died. Like, she was intentionally taken from me, and that's going to take a long time to un-F. And I think my dad was going through a similar process. And so basically, my dad kind of started to fall sick in March of this year. So this is like barely 2 months after my mom passed away. And I'm going to be kind of honest, like, I couldn't really deal with it. As a human, I had max capacity. And as a human, there was only so much I could handle. And I was just at max capacity. And so kind of going back, like, my dad and I we were close when I was little, and we were not close as an adult. And it's sad that it happened that way. But, you know, he left when I was 8 with my stepmom and moved to Florida. And that really broke apart that relationship in more ways than one. Up until 8, though, I was very close with my dad. You know, I'm shocked I'm even talking about this, because I was like never going to speak about my dad publicly until now. So this is hard for me to do. And I'm not sure how much I want to share. But essentially, my dad came from the South. He was very white, blonde hair, blue eyes. He came from an extremely religious / racist family, long line of racist family, like 6-8 generation farmers in the South. And essentially the way that their families were raised, where you have children to become mules for you for the farm. So they were raised to be the workers and caretakers of the farm. And my dad was raised into a large family with lots of boys, all boys actually. And at a very young age, he rejected the idea of becoming a farmer. He didn't want to be a farmer. He didn't want to, he wanted to break those generational curses of just like constantly farming and like stay on the farm your whole life and just pass it on from generation to generation. And so at a young age, my dad really got into music. He was a singer. He played guitar. He's actually the person that got me into music. I know that if any of you have purchased my book, Kat's gonna cue the book. Kat, no, I'm just kidding. If she always has it right there. Oh my God, Jesus. I talk in my book about.
Buy it on Amazon.
I talk about being a singer, which is where Kat and I really bonded, because she's a singer as well. And so at a young age, basically my dad, you know, our bond, my dad and myself, our bond was Johnny Cash. My dad loved Johnny Cash. He idolized Johnny Cash. And the main reason was because if you know anything about Johnny Cash's like story as a child, like he was also forced into farm work. And at 18, he left home and like joined the military and like escaped basically that lifestyle. So that was why my dad, you know, really admired Johnny Cash so much. So for me growing up, it was on country music and predominantly Johnny Cash. And I remember just being in his truck at a very young age, like being able to even, you know, speak at 2 and 3, singing just Johnny Cash in his truck for hours. And so that was always our unique bond. My dad was kind of a savant when it came to music. He taught himself how to play guitar by ear. He could literally hear a song on guitar and play it. So he never even had like a formal lesson. He taught me how to play guitar. And at like the age of 3, since he was into performing, I started performing for my family. And that was when my parents were like, oh my God, she can actually sing. Like, even though she's little, she can sing. And my dad started basically pursuing me to get voice lessons. I started performing in like local talent shows and rehearsals. And I always beat out the older kids, even at a very young age, and I would win money for it. And my parents always let me keep the money or the prize. And so my dad always wanted me to pursue the dream that he couldn't, essentially. And as I got older, I decided to take piano lessons. I sort of gave up guitar, took piano, and eventually in my teens started a band. I thought I was going to be the next Gwen Stefani. I was obsessed with No Doubt. I had a band for years up into my 20s, and my whole family really, really believed, even my extended family, like my cousins, aunts, uncles, like everybody truly believed that was going to be my life. They really believed I was going to follow the path of singing and like being in a band and like becoming a famous musician. And in my 20s, some other like stuff happened, life. And also, Kat, I've told you this, like, how hard is it to keep a guitarist on in a band?
My God, the tea I have on my guitar, the guitarist I used to have, it's ridiculous. It's why them? It's always a guitarist.
Well, it's
sorry, now Jay, the guitar player.
They want the money and the fame, but they don't want to work for it, is really what it comes down to, Yeah,
that was something we also bonded on, was like, we both work really hard, but nobody else wanted to put in the effort.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very interesting synchronicity we had in regards to music, and give a little, get a little. Yep. What the heck? It doesn't take much.
So I did that. I pursued it, but in my 20s, like I'd say mid to late 20s, I had just life happen and got really frustrated with band members. Like guitarists quitting constantly, drummers quitting. It's just annoying. You know what I mean? Or personalities don't click, and I just kind of was like, F it, I'm done. And that was sort of the catalyst that really blew my relationship apart with my dad. And that was because he wanted me to pursue the dream he didn't have. And but then I became rebellious, you know what I mean? Because he left when I was 8. He was not even in my life part-time, and I just became rebellious. And I was like, F you, I'm not living my life for you. You know what I mean? It was the typical rebellious girl, my decisions aren't what you make. You know what I mean? It was just, it was rebel. So I think I never went back to music because I was too busy just being happy, pissing him off. You know what I mean? It's dark, it's daddy issues, whatever you want to call it. I was just pissed off. And so after that, we really had a hard time repairing our relationship, to be honest. It wasn't just that. There were other things. My dad grew up on the farm, like I said, and very abusive household. He was severely physically beat and abused as a child because he did not conform to their standards of being a farm worker. He was not only abused by his father, but he was abused by his older brothers because he wouldn't conform. He was the black sheep. And the day he turned 18, he left and never went back. And unfortunately, later on in life, mental health caught up to him from the abuse that he had endured from his childhood, which I feel like is only normal for what he had went through. And I have more information on this, but I'm not going to release it till I'm done writing my book because it's a big story and I'm just not ready to it's not the time or the place for it. So anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of where my dad and I were. Fast forward, obviously, he was close with my stepmother. He'd been with my stepmom since I was 8. I effing hated her, if you want me to be honest. She was terrible to me. She's one of the worst villains in my story. She was horrible to me my whole life. And he didn't like it that we didn't get along. And, it's just lots of trauma. And, he was alone. And so March rolls around after my mom dies, and which is obviously a shock. I still think I'm too young to have had my mom pass away the way she did. I would have never thought my mom would have been murdered. You know what I mean? I would have never thought I'd even be where I'm at now. And basically my dad got sick. I think that he was sick from just the stress of my mom's death. Although he didn't deal with anything, it was still just I think he was worried about me. I think it was just stress. Just stress, who in their right mind would have thought I would have experienced a parent being murdered? Not me. And I hope to God nobody ever has to go through that. You know what I mean? So he was kind of getting sick in March, and I kind of placed him in this like temporary facility to make sure that he was, and I did it a little bit against his will, to be honest. But I did it because I couldn't deal with it, and I needed to make sure he was getting his medications correctly, and it was temporary. I knew it wasn't going to be permanent. It was just temporary till he got better. And he was fine. He was very mad at me for what I had done. He was mad because like he got his freedom taken away a little bit, but like I kept trying to say like it's not permanent. I just want to make sure you're better. I'm not well enough myself to come help you. And so he was there in that facility for about a month, and we just were fighting horrible, honestly. He was very angry with me. Although I still feel like I made the right decision placing him there temporarily. I got a phone call on June 7th that he was talking to another patient or resident there, and he went in to go call me on his cell phone, and he sat in a chair and was basically found completely unconscious. And they raced him to the hospital, and they tried to do CPR. He was not on like a do not resuscitate, and he was not able to come back. Basically, he had just like instant heart failure, and the doctors said that his death was probably peaceful. He just sat in a chair, went to sleep, and didn't wake up, essentially is what happened. And here's Krystal with both of her parents gone at a very young age, and I'm very confused. The doctor was shocked that it happened too, but the doctor was like, a lot of times with parents, if one goes, even if they're separated, the other one will go because they have that like soulmate bond. And considering this was heart failure, the doctor was like, I just feel like your dad literally died from a broken heart because of your mom. And I was speechless. I was beside myself. I had cried so much from my mother's death that I had nothing left to cry over my dad. And all I knew was I had to pull the plug on Ghost Girl Diaries temporarily until I could figure out what was wrong with me and how I was going to deal with this, because I knew after both of my parents dying, 4 months apart, Kat. 4 months apart. And I'm an only child with no family to lean on and count on. I knew I was going to have a mental breakdown. I knew I was facing an actual death and rebirth. It's called Dark Night of the Soul, whatever you want to call it. I knew that I was about to go through it, and I didn't want to do it publicly. And that was why I pulled the plug on Ghost Girl Diaries temporarily, because I needed to go through this in a very, very private manner. And nobody on this planet could understand what I was going through. I asked my spirit guides in the universe to deliver me people that had experienced their parents being murdered. They delivered them. I met some people that experienced similar ways that my mom was killed. And I'm going to be honest, it helped me like this much, like very teeny. And like, it wasn't enough. So I knew that it didn't matter who I was around, that I was going to have to go on this healing journey extremely isolated. And I had no choice. I didn't have the start of the mental breakdown until about the end of July is when it started. When my dad first died, I just couldn't deal with it because you're talking about burying 2 people, cremating 2 people, filling out the paperwork for death certificates for 2 people, making obituaries for 2 people. Do you know how traumatic that is to do that as an only child and have no support around you whatsoever? I don't have an aunt to call or a grandparent or a sibling. I was by myself doing all of this. And I just scooped all of my feelings under the rug purposely because I just couldn't deal with it. And then it all caught up with me at the end of July. And I absolutely lost my shit. And had really terrible... a lot of relationships left in my life. I had here's for an example. My mom has a brother that I'm not very close with. He's my uncle. He's never really been in my life. But he was really the only person I felt like I could reach out to that was family to just let him know, hey, my dad died too. So I texted him. He was the first person I let know that my dad died. And his response was, oh, that sucks. And I was like, okay, I don't need this person in my life. Like, if there's no equal give and take, this person doesn't want to be a part of my life. I give more to them than they give to me. There's no point to keep this relationship going. All of my cousins that are on my mom's side, not a single person called to see if I was okay. Not a single person messaged me. And trust me, they stalk the F out of me on social media. They know about Ghost Girl Diaries. They know about my fame. They know about the times I've been on TV, radio shows. They know everything. Not a single person reached out to me to see if I was okay. What family I did hear from, and some friends, they're calling me and they're like, oh my God, if my mom was murdered and then my dad died 4 months later, I would just go off myself. You should just go off yourself. I can't tell you how many people told me that. So I would call Kat and I would be like, why is everyone telling me to commit suicide? Why is multiple people telling, should I do that? Like, I was literally confused.
It was backwards. Backwards. I could not believe I was hearing that.
Multiple people were like, oh, I couldn't handle it. If I were you, I would just go like jump off a bridge. Like, everyone kept saying that to me. I was like so confused. I was like, I'm an Aquarius moon. Aquariuses are known for shutting off their emotions. I'm like, did I shut my emotions off so much that I'm not understanding what everybody else is seeing? You know what I mean? And so thank God I had Kat as my conscience, because if I would have been completely isolated, I might have been in trouble. And just everyone's telling me to just off myself. And so I'm telling Kat, I'm like, what should I do? She's like, block them. Block them all. Block every single one. Anybody that said that to you, block them. So I did. I blocked them through email. I blocked them through phone calls. And these were people like that I thought were like important to me. Like, this wasn't just like, I've already gone through shadow work and like eliminated toxic people. You know what I mean? So like, why are the people that I thought were important to me still being dark, you know? And so I start blocking people. I'm blocking people. And honestly, I start feeling better as I don't have to hear about this dark shit anymore, telling me to, I'm in a bad place. Don't tell me to go jump off a bridge. Like, that's just not the right thing to say. If you can't find the words to say to somebody, then just don't talk to them, you know? And then I have this one friend that I've known for years. I've literally known this person since like I was 12 years old. She's been like a lifelong friend, but she's always known for her drama. She's always got drama going on. She's a Leo. She loves to be center stage. No offense to Leos. She just loves the drama. And she has a boyfriend that's like a drug dealer, and she's always moving in and moving out of his house. And there's always this drama. And she knows my parents both just died, and I'm like messed up in the head. And instead of calling to say, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? The first thing out of her mouth is, oh my God, you're not going to believe what so-and-so did again. He like kicked me out of the house again. I had to move out, da-da-da-da-da. And then like just like third world problems that like I don't care about right now. And I'm like offended that you're even calling me to tell me you're about your druggy boyfriend when I'm literally having like a meltdown right now. Never asking if I was okay. So I called Kat again. I'm like, what should I do? She's like, block her. Block her, block her, block her. But it was hard though, because I've known this person like over half my life. I'm shocked that I had so many relationships bust apart from my parents' death. And I'm not the person that like puts my trauma off onto other people. It's not like I was calling everybody being like, oh my God, look, you know, I wasn't doing that at all. They were coming to me being like, oh yeah, I heard they died. You should just like go jump off a bridge. That's what I would do. I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, I'd just go kill myself. Jesus. So it was a weird death and rebirth. It wasn't only the death and rebirth of my parents and where I was. I lost a lot of relationships through my parents dying, and it was shocking to me. I had to figure out, you know, like relationships that were no longer serving me from the past. I needed people that were willing to give me equal give and take. I needed people that were understanding of the dark times that I was going through. And I needed people to give me the space and the time to be able to figure it out. And I had to eliminate a bunch of people, and it was really bad. So, you know, I've never had a mental breakdown. If anybody wants to know what that's like, I'll tell you in my next book. There's a lot of crying, there's screaming, there's not eating, there's, you think you're going crazy. You think everybody hates your guts. You're paranoid. I felt really isolated and alone with both my parents being gone. I am an only child. You know, my dad's side of my family, when he died, they hate me because I'm Indigenous. So I've been not accepted by them since I was born, literally. Not a single person called to ask me if I was okay after my dad's death, and he has a pretty big family in the South. All they did was send me any belongings that he had, and not even a card to say, like, I'm sorry for your, nothing. In fact, some of these people that sent me his items, I've never even met my entire life. Isn't that crazy? So they didn't even, like, introduce themselves. They just were like, here's this stuff. See ya. See you never. And my mom's side of the family is such a mess. I just don't, you know, they're all drug addicts, and I just don't talk to any of them. And I just had to figure out where my relationships were in my life. And it's weird because when I started to eliminate all of this stuff and, like, go through this death and rebirth process of learning who this new sense of self was, who this new identity of me was, opportunities started flooding in. And over the summer, even though I was going through that, I ended up going to Los Angeles for like 4 days, and I filmed a true crime documentary over the summer. And that was cool. Woo! I know. So that will be premiering. That was really exciting. That was cool. So that'll be premiering in December. I'll tell you guys when it premieres. I'm really excited about that. It actually kind of has something to do with me being involved with my music career, singing as a kid, and pageants. So that'll be really cool to, like, share that with you guys. And I actually just finished filming another secret project. That one I'm really excited about. Woo!
Secret.
Yeah, that one though, I should be able to announce in the next week or two. That one I should be able to announce, like, really soon. That was the coolest experience, like, I've ever had on set. Like, that was something new. And so yeah, that I just filmed in LA. When was that? Like the last week of September? Last week of September. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I got to, it's weird because, like, as sad as the dark night of the soul I went through, opportunities just started sort of coming in. Now, one thing I want to just do before we start the other stream is talking about change and how important change is, and it's okay. And I know there's some people that are like, you know, who are you going to be, Chris? Like, I'm just different now, you know, like I'm much better. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm fully healed, because I'm not at all. But I'm much better. I'm just very, like, stay to myself. I don't like people's BS on the outside. I think that's why I got really triggered when there was, like, articles coming out about me and, like, people talking about, like, I quit GGD and walked away. There's a really big difference between, like, TikTok people, influencers, filmmakers, paranormal investigators. And I just feel like we need to talk about that for a minute. Because Kat and I had this conversation the other day. And, you know, yeah, I've been doing my makeup stuff, which would probably put me in, like, the influencer category. But I still, like, in my soul consider myself, like, a filmmaker because of everything I've done with GGD. Like, we've literally won film festivals. People are asking, are you going to still try to get the series signed? Yeah, that's the goal. But I did have, like, 2 negotiations this year, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not there mentally to be able to negotiate. To negotiate, you have to hustle really hard. It's a lot of self-promotion. It's a lot of networking. Kat's been in it with me for 4 or 5 years. I don't have it right now, if I'm just being honest. I don't have it in me to cold call production companies and producers and hustle online and try to get, I just don't have it. I'm tired. I'm like a soul tired. Now, I really need the universe to just bring that to me on its own. I need, like, an opportunity to fall in my lap. At this point, I've probably negotiated with every single network, and the reason they all turn me down is I want the same amount of control that Zach has with Ghost Adventures. And no one's willing to give me that chance because I'm a female, and they don't think females can be filmmakers, is really what the core of it, what it comes down to. So, literally. Yeah. So I need somebody to give me the opportunity to be able to do this because I'm tired. I'm just tired. I cannot keep hustling this. It's the same dragon I've been chasing, the same fight and war. Like, I'm a warrior. I've been having the same negotiation for years with production companies, producers. Like, if I'm a girl, I've already won film festivals as best director. I've have the proof for you that I can do this, and it's still not enough because I have female genitalia, like literally. And because of that, I'm just tired. I don't have the strength to fight it right now. So I've really just been manifesting the universe. This time I want change. I don't want to go get it myself. I would like it to come to me and find us and sign us because I'm tired. I've been through a lot. The universe really knocked me down this year, and I'm a tough cookie. Like, I can go through some stuff, but I really got knocked over hard a couple of times this year. And I have to be really mindful of like where I'm placing my energy. I'm very selfish with my energy now. I'm very selfish with who I allow, who has a privilege to be in my energy field, because I realized that a lot of people had ill intent for me when my parents died. So I'm just being very careful with who's allowed to be around me at this point. I'm still Krystal with Ghost Girl. I'm just a tamer version. My ego self is dead. My old self is dead. I've learned to balance out my masculine, feminine energies. But, you know, through the summer, it was interesting because Kat was sort of taking notes, and there was some drama going online with other TikTok influencers and like paranormal investigators. And that's exactly why I don't want to be in those categories. Something from working with Zach, like, because, you know, no matter what, like, Zach and I have gone in and out of each other's lives for 12 years, right? We talk and we don't talk, and then we talk and we don't talk. I go to the museum, I don't hear from him. It doesn't matter. It's always going to come back around for full circle again, right? At the end of the day, whether we're talking or not, Zach and I have the utmost respect for each other. I respect him and he respects me, because people don't realize 100% of the shows, other than Zach, are all mass produced by production companies. Zach is the only one as an actual filmmaker. He's gone to school for it. He has his, I don't think he has a degree. I think he has a certificate. And that's what he applies to create what he has created. That is why they're going on 30 seasons. He is a filmmaker made paranormal investigator. But everybody online wants to be an influencer, wants to be a paranormal investigator. And then they fight with each other. But see, what I learned from Zach is the only competition that you ever have is yourself. Zach's only competition is himself. I can guarantee you right now, nobody's ever going to hit 30 seasons of whatever TV show except Zach. He's the only one. He's competing only by himself. And that is why, with all of the drama that goes on with paranormal investigators, paranormal groups, influencers, I don't get involved with it because I stay in my own lane. I don't pay attention to what anybody's doing around me except myself and Ghost Girl Diaries. I don't have competition. My competition is myself. And I do not like to get caught up in all of the online BS. Did I say that right? I mean, you were watching it more, right, while it was happening.
It's really obnoxious. And, you know, even going back to the Zach thing, you can hate on him all you want, but he's the most successful one out of the paranormal, you know, the community. He knows what he's doing.
Well, there's a reason. You're saying there's a reason for that. Yeah. He stays to himself, and he doesn't worry about the clicks. You know, think about it. You think about Ghost Hunters, right? Like, they have Ghost Hunters Academy and Ghost Hunters. And then what was the other one? Ghost Hunters International. And like, so then it just becomes getting bigger. And then those drift off into other shows, right? And then they all become cliques. They all become cliques. And then there's a clique here. And, oh, I hate you and I hate you. Oh, but you're allowed to be my friend and you're not. Oh, you copied my content. You didn't copy my content. Oh, she got a show deal. I didn't get a show deal. That's the key that people aren't seeing that Zach does. He doesn't care about the cliques. He doesn't need to be friends with anybody. He needs to worry about himself and what he's doing.
Well, and he takes accountability. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're left with you. And if you're not putting in the work to get the results that you want and you're complaining about someone else, then you're not doing what you need to do to get yourself there.
Why don't you focus on yourself more and not everybody else and not creating cliques, and maybe you'll get somewhere.
And it's hard because, like, you know, this is going to cause a little rift and some fire here. But, you know, when I was discussing this with Krystal, if you want to be, you know, on television or to be a well-known, well-respected paranormal investigator, It is not just being an influencer. It's putting in the work as a business. You become a business, and you have to think like that. And it's not something that's going to happen where if you have X amount of followers, you're going to get a DM from a production company. Like, that's just not how it works.
Look at how many negotiations I've gotten into, and I'm not even half of where some of them are. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, you can't just use wishful thinking. You've got to put yourself out there, you know, and really start to promote yourself in a way outside of just an influencer, for sure. And that's not to say that people that are paranormal investigating and are influencers are not legit either. You know, we're not saying that, but what we're saying is, you know, you can't complain about opportunities or wanting to put yourself out there if you're not going to put yourself out there as such.
Well, I'm also saying is that you're looking at it from a paranormal investigator, a YouTuber, and a TikToker, and you're not seeing it from a filmmaker standpoint.
Yes.
You're wanting to get signed through production companies or get your own show, and you have no idea about film. You will become the next mass-produced ghost hunter that will get canceled after 3 seasons because the production company is in control. They will do it as fast as they can. They will push the content out as fast as they can. The entire paranormal community is going to see that half of the evidence in post-production was fake. You're going to get canceled after 3 seasons. So if that's what you're interested in and that's your fast track to getting signed, get it. You do it.
Here's the thing. And this was another, you know, something else that I mentioned with Krystal was, in the social media world, in the influencer world, you want the quick follow. You want, you know, the quick content, the quick, you know, notoriety. But when you're wanting to become established in something, it takes time. You have to have patience. This is why things take as long as they do in film or when you have big dreams. I mean, and with Ghost Girl Diaries, we've made excellent strides, but we're still working towards it. And you have to have patience in this industry. And there's a lot of people that just don't have that. And that's okay. But you also just need to know who you are as a person and just be that. Like, it's okay.
Well, there's a lot of naiveness going on a little bit too. I've had some influencers message me, multiple, not just one. These are like paranormal influencers. And they're wanting to get signed and they think I have some sort of in. Well, girl, if I had an in, boo, we'd all have an in. Because no, it's true though. If I could get Ghost Girl Diary signed, I would absolutely start signing other series and it would be under my control to make sure that it was done right and that it lasted. You know what I mean? But like you don't even realize I have been fighting the fight of literally just being a female ghost hunter. Literally, that is the only fight. And like, you think that you can just get in really quickly? I mean, if you want to be mass produced, you can probably get signed really easily. But I don't want my stuff to fail. My biggest fear is getting Ghost Girl Diary signed. It gets mass produced. And by the way, let me tell you, we've already had that offer. We could have been signed last year. Yeah, several, but last year too. We could have been signed if I would have handed the reins over and said, yeah, do it. But the problem is the production companies do not understand paranormal film. And when they go into post-production, they're going to make a bunch of fake evidence so that people watch it. And the paranormal community is going to know it's fake. And then it's going to get canceled. And I don't want to get canceled.
You don't want the quick fame. You don't want the quick buck. You want an analytic business mind to have longevity and know what you're doing. You almost have to be a step ahead of them. And that takes time and that takes work. You know, you got to put yourself out there. You've got to fall a few times and then figure out why it didn't work out and go back to the drawing board. Like, it's a lot. This is not an easy lifestyle. Being a filmmaker, paranormal investigator, and a woman is not easy in this industry. You have to have a thick
even if Kat and Elfie were, and by the way, this has been going back further than I started. Elfie was in the game longer than me. I started 2011. Elfie started like 2003, 2005, and it's been the same since. Yeah. So if you think it's going to change overnight, it's going to take someone like me, and not me necessarily, but someone like me, a female, getting in to be able to produce other females. That's the only way things are going to change. Someone's got to go in to be a voice and be the first one to start it. And and that's why you can't just go in for the quick sign. We could have been signed already. But I wouldn't have had any control over it. None.
You can't. And you also can't go in saying, oh, well, Zach Bagans. That's not like, worry about your path. Worry about your path. It is a problem. Misogyny is a problem.
Yeah.
However, you know, find a way to fix it and do it instead of putting the blame on Zach and not getting to where you need to go. Don't worry about him.
Zach has nothing to do with it. Zach has nothing to do with it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I'm really tired of seeing it. I'm really tired of seeing it all over social media.
Oh no, it's the yeah. There's a lot of I know what Kat's talking about. It took me a minute to catch on. There's a lot of female influencers that have used Zach's name to basically say he is the problem in paranormal. They've blamed Zach, saying he is greasy hair and biceps, he's masculine, and because
I don't have that.
Yeah, because he's created the image of the paranormal investigator. He has caused everyone else to be against females. That's not even true. I know Zach. In fact, I get really I've blocked a couple TikTok influencers because I get so sick of seeing their like spoofs and making fun of him. Like, you know, it's interesting because he's not the same person personally that he is on camera. On camera, he's this like big personality, right? I mean, he's kind of slowed it down a little bit since he's gotten older. But he used to be like, you know, come up out of that hole and get us. It's not how he is in person. He has a Scorpio moon, guys. In person, he's really quiet and he doesn't like people to know his business. And he just, when you're in a conversation, he wants to whisper to you so you listen. Barely like Marilyn Monroe status, you know what I mean? And like, he's a very gentle human, honest to God. Yeah. I'm saying that because I've known him for 12 years. And like, so I get so triggered when these female TikTokers make fun of him because I'm like, you don't even know him. You don't even know what you're talking about.
And honestly, they don't even realize they're giving him free press the more they complain about it.
100%.
It's just making him more successful. So it's
true.
like,
yeah,
just continue doing your thing then. We're not saying misogyny is not a thing. We're not saying that women still, you know, don't get the short end of the stick, because we do. But just take Zach out of the narrative. It's an overall thing. It's not just Zach.
Oh, I know.
He knew how to market it, and he's doing well with it. So let him have that
It's true.
success.
And the time that Zach got signed, what year was that? I think their documentary was like 2005, 2008, something like that. That was a while ago, guys. Like, you know, and where he's at now, if you watch season 1 to season, what's he on? 384. Right?
I love it. The 2004
episode 14,083,000. No, but
X
like
120.
Yeah, but if you look at the difference in filming between then and now, stark difference, and that's a reason, because he has grown as a filmmaker, which is what you want to do, right? That's what you want to do. You want to go ahead.
And the greasy hair biceps thing is his camera persona.
Yes.
So, like, he's doing his job right.
Actually, like,
you know, complaining about it.
Like, when was this? 2 years ago or 3 years ago? 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I went downtown. He called me at like 10 o'clock at night. I can't remember when it was.
Yes. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, he told me not to talk about it then. It's been 2 years. I can talk about it now.
You're like,
okay?
I'm going to talk about it now.
Now we're going to talk about it. He had purchased he like messaged me at 10 o'clock at night, and he was like, hey, I just bought this haunted, like it was like a haunted hotel. I think he tore it down. It was pretty decrepit. When I got there, I was like, why did you buy this? Like, it's really bad shape. Like, it needs some Jesus. It hadn't been updated to like since the 70s or something. But he was there. Jay was there. Aaron was there. I don't think Billy was there. Bacon was there. Aaron was there. Yep. And there was like a few other people that were hanging out too, like people that worked at the museum and stuff. But like, let me tell you how Zach is. When you are in his friend circle, he is the funniest, goofiest guy. They had like BMX bikes, and they were like jumping. They had filled the pool with they had BMX bikes and scooters. I think Zach was on a scooter, actually. He's probably like, don't tell this, Krystal. I want people to think I'm cool. And they were like jumping off of the plank of the diving board into this gravel of pool. Like, it was hilarious to watch. And like Jay would like get a start running, like jump, you know, on and like jump into the pool, like, and it was gravel. So when they hit the gravel, like, you know, like total, but like they were having fun, and they were just being dudes and just like hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just, it's amazing to me. You're right. When people talk smack about him, first of all, they don't even know him. Second of all, you are giving him free press. No matter what. It doesn't matter if there's 4 million people that hate him online, all it's doing is helping him grow. That is all it's doing.
He's doing his job right.
Yeah. Well, and I think when you've gotten to that point of success where people hate you, it means that you made it. Good job.
Yeah, you just
Proud of
really
you.
don't care.
Yeah.
Honestly, the amount of time you complaining about him, you could have been utilizing to get yourself a step ahead
Mhm.
to where you wanted to be.
Mhm.
You know, like, we're all in this together, boo. Yes, we need change, but you got to get there first, and complaining isn't going to get you there.
Mhm.
So,
well, and he hired a female camera tech.
Yeah.
And
he's been featuring more women.
You know, the next thing would be great is if
Shows.
he signed me, but you know, that would really show that he's in it for women. But you know, we'll just
Okay,
wait anyway. No, but I was really, I think we just needed to address that. And I consider myself a filmmaker before I consider myself an influencer, and before I consider myself a paranormal investigator.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, they're their own categories. They're their own categories. It's not to be better. It's not to say anyone's better than anyone else.
No.
It's just, you know, if you're wanting those big dreams and goals, we're just saying it's time to start thinking about.
Why don't you work for it
just
and stop talking about other people? Yeah, I mean, just do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of TikTok and cancel culture, everyone tried to cancel Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay, real story here. I've only watched the first episode, but I've been hearing so much cancel stuff on it. What the heck's going on with it? Okay,
ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of cancel culture in some aspects. This is one of them. The other one I'm not a fan of, when they just canceled that Michaela makeup girl. That was traumatic. Jesus, people are horrible.
It was so...
God, Jesus. Anyway, Jeffrey Dahmer, basically they're saying that, I have watched some of the episodes. It's amazing, by the way. But basically they're saying they, as in whoever's doing the cancellation of serial killers, that you should get all of the remaining victims' families' permission before you do a documentary on this person's murder. So essentially they're saying that if it's so fresh that there's survivors still alive, that you shouldn't do a documentary on it. And basically there was petitions going around on all social media platforms trying to get enough people to sign the petitions to like get Netflix to cancel it or like shut the show down. People were asking people not to watch it and not give it views so it would go away. My response is that serial killers are always going to be a fascination to people. There's nothing we can do about that, period. And I honestly think it's a good thing to be fascinated and study serial killers, because maybe that can prevent us or stop us from, you know, another serial killer having that same pattern, psychological pattern, whatever you want to call it. I think there's a really big importance behind it. And honestly, you just can't walk on eggshells around everybody. And I feel like I have an opinion on this. My mom was killed by a serial killer who is still on the loose in Vegas, who will never be caught, who will never be, there will never be justice served for my mom. I know she's not the only person that this person has murdered. She did it so comfortably and easily. And she's free right now. So if anyone has an opinion on canceling serial killers, it's me. Because I've experienced it with my mom. And I do not think they should be canceled. Why? We need to study them so that maybe we can prevent this from happening again. And, you know, there was an outburst of some of the victims' families saying they didn't approve it. Apparently, there's one particular victim's family that when they recreated a couple of the scenes of the family in court against Dahmer, it was like scarily accurate. I've seen the side-by-sides because there was like video footage of Dahmer like actually in court versus like the one that he did like in the series, and it's really good. It's really good. Yeah. But I think it like triggered them and basically got them mad. So I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. It's never. Serial killers are never going to go away. They're never. You know what I mean? People. The fascination behind it is never going to stop. It's never going to end. And in paranormal, sorry, my dogs are barking. In paranormal, it's something that we need because those are locations that we visit. And once again, I think it's like getting answers through the afterlife of like what actually happened. I think you can help in a way with paranormal evidence. You know what I mean?
It's true. And I mean, let's just be real. Nobody's canceled Bailey Sarian.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Amen. Amen.
What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna, I mean, not that we're saying we don't understand. Like, I get it.
If you don't know who Bailey Sarian is, she does literally just serial killer podcasts with makeup. She's done stuff with Netflix. She's very successful. She's a millionaire now. Yeah, nobody's canceled her, and that's all she does. And it's not that I'm saying, please don't cancel her. I don't want her canceled, for God's sake.
No.
I'm just saying, like, stop. stop. Just
Mhm.
stop. But you know, this did happen to me. But once again, I feel like I'm a public figure and it's been 12 years in and it's been a lot of trauma. And I have been canceled a couple times. People have tried to cancel me a couple of times. I was canceled once because a soundbite was taken out of a video that I did. And I was talking about my racist family that lives in the South. And somebody took out just the soundbite that made it sound, and they re-edited it to make it sound like I said I was racist against people in the South. And I'm not. I'm indigenous. Hello. Kat's my best friend's sister and she's half Hispanic. What the hell is wrong with everybody? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I've also been.
Go to any lane.
I've been called, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? What did I just say? Not prejudice. I've been called prejudice because I'm goth too. Because because I'm indigenous and I'm like hiding my skin tone and I'm pale and I wear black lipstick.
And the blonde.
I'm a skinhead and I hate everybody. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess whatever. Just go with the flow. You know what I mean? Like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even though I pay for indigenous scholarships for film. That I don't talk about that publicly. It doesn't matter though. It still makes me racist. You know what I mean? It's just stupid. So once again though, if you've become somebody and you've gotten canceled, it means you're doing something right. I also got canceled once. Because I did a video on the how haunted Columbine High School is. And the video wasn't me talking about, the video is that a past employee, because I grew up by Columbine. I was in lockdown when Columbine happened. I was literally up the street from Columbine when it happened. I was in middle school though. And I was on Paranormal Challenge and then, you know, kind of became like a little famous in Colorado for that because there's not a lot of people that get on TV from Colorado. And I was invited by a school employee to come to Columbine, which I'd already been there and I already knew that it was haunted. And they basically wanted me to investigate to make sure that no souls were trapped there. And the video that I did was saying, I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think we need to do an investigation. I don't think you need to sage and smudge. I think this is just permanent trauma on a loop, you know, residual energy, and it's never going to go away. And the whole point of that video was to teach the paranormal community, you can say no to an investigation. You don't have to always say yes. If you find it inappropriate, you can say no. That was the context, critical thinking to that video. And instead, everybody came after me saying, you shouldn't be promoting investigating Columbine. I didn't. I was not promoting investigating Columbine. That wasn't even what I said in the damn video.
They'll only take what they want to hear. They'll only take what they want to hear.
But that it goes back to also this canceling of the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. It's the same thing. Like, Columbine's never going to go away. These traumatic things that happened, they're never going to go away. And you're going to find people that are fascinated with it. And on the other side, it's kind of good because I have a couple of friends that are like actual detectives. And they became detectives from true crime documentaries. So you're also birthing a new generation of people to help these cases in the future. So, like, I just don't think people are seeing, it's like critical thinking. And I think most of the population has a hard time with that sometimes. And so anyway, yeah, I just thought it was interesting that we talked about cancel culture. I don't agree with some cancel culture, and this is something I don't agree with.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it, so.
I feel the same. I feel the same way. Yep. It's too much. It can be too convoluted sometimes.
Yeah, you're just like, you can't please everybody, man. I told Kat that when she first came on Ghost Girl Diaries, she was asking me advice on like being a public figure. Like, how do I handle this? Like, you're getting thrusted into a big audience of people. And I told her, I said, be yourself. I said, if you look at an audience of 100%, you are not in your life going to make 100% people happy. You're not. And I said, if you can walk away with at least 50% of people liking you and liking who you are, you did your job.
That's enough.
And you learned on social media real quick. Some people come talk smack to you. They hate you on social media. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, well, you're part of the 50% that just doesn't matter. And you don't have to like me. And that's it.
Well, it's true. And it's also kind of like myself too. So I think I'm pretty cool.
Yeah, well, as long that's
my little crochet.
And you have to be yourself. You can't not be true to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, So
Yep.
Dahmer stuff has been interesting. I don't know if I really want to go through all the Dahmer stuff, but I want to talk about a new serial killer, and I want to talk about some facts behind it. And like the last topic I want to talk about is like the paranormal side of it, right? Because that's what always wraps into it. I do want to talk about, though, Jeffrey Dahmer's murderer. So the person that actually offed Jeffrey Dahmer, because I feel like we don't really talk about that part very much. Because I was just really getting into it because I found it just fascinating that they're doing another documentary, which, by the way, I think that the actor doing the Dahmer series is amazing.
Evan.
Oh my God, he's so good.
Yeah, he's really good.
So Jeffrey Dahmer was in prison, obviously, for what he'd done. And there was a guy named Christopher Scarver, and he was an American criminal too. He had been put in jail and like had a life sentence already for like killing somebody else, basically. So I'm sure when he made the decision to kill Dahmer, he was like, I'm already in here for life. Doesn't matter. Give me another life sentence type thing. So this was like 1994. So Christopher, the guy that got Dahmer, used a 20-inch metal bar that he'd removed from a piece of exercise equipment from the prison weight room and hid it like under his shirt, and then went in and basically beat and fatally wounded Dahmer. He also killed another guy that was there. So my question was, though, like, why did this guy kill him? You know what I mean? Like, what was the reason for it? Backing up, though, so Christopher, what happened?
Did you just hear that?
No, what was it?
Whoa, it scared me.
Is it on my side?
One of my jars just moved on my freaking...
Are you okay?
Oh my God, it just scared the crap out of me. My gosh, yeah, it's fine. We're good.
Yeah, but I mean, like, a jar moving by itself isn't normal.
No, that's not. Well, it's a typical day in my apartment.
Typical day with GGD.
What else is
it's
new?
Fine. There's always paranormal activity live. That's the only reason why people come on live.
Oh, weird.
So Christopher, this guy, he was hearing voices and having delusions. So he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. So this is the guy that killed Dahmer in jail, in prison. And so anyway, he had a murder conviction that was like happened on June 1st of 1990. And this all went down on the morning of November 28th of 1994. Christopher was doing work detail with two inmates, Jesse Anderson, who was serving time for the murder of his wife, and then Dahmer was there, who had obviously like his cannibalistic serial killer spree, right? I'm sure, though, everyone was deathly afraid of Dahmer.
Oh, yeah. Especially how calm his energy was, like how his demeanor was.
Mm-hmm.
Was very just like nonchalant.
Mm-hmm.
That's sketch.
Yeah,
That's
but like as a
sketch.
prisoner, would you want to hang out with Dahmer? Like, no, I'm good. You know
No,
what I mean? Like,
no.
So it's just really bad.
Immediately no.
So basically, Christopher first killed Jesse Anderson with a wooden stick in the showers, and then he went afterwards to go beat Jeffrey Dahmer with the 20-inch like pipe, like dumbbell thing that he had. It was like a piece of exercise equipment. Then afterwards, Jesse returned to his cell, and he informed like the correction officers, like what he'd done. He said, I killed Jesse and I killed Jeffrey, and I did it because I heard the voice of God. God told me to do it. Which was interesting. So Dahmer he was rushed to a hospital, but he died like an hour later. And Anderson died Anderson's the other guy he beat. He ended up dying two days later. He was on life support, and they removed him from life support. But my question was like, why did he go after these two people specifically? So Christopher was Black, and he knew that most of Jeffrey Dahmer's like victims were Black. So they think that's why he did it. Because he was trying to get, whatever revenge for like the victims. Basically, he was killing like innocent Black kids. There was like a 14-year-old involved with Dahmer too. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
And the other one was Anderson. He had stabbed his wife to death. And after he stabbed his wife to death, he attempted to frame two Black men that did the attack. So that's why they think Jesse also killed him.
Yeah.
So he was basically getting revenge for like what happened to this like community of Black people. So I wanted to know, because I feel like that part's always left out. You know what I mean?
Well, and it says here too that an agent representing Scarver, who was the one that beat Jeffrey Dahmer, that he's willing to write a tell-all book about the killing of Dahmer.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know how much
I'd
you
read
can
it.
say about it. I'd read it. Jesus, God.
I would.
So some interesting facts coming out of the series, though, is that John Wayne Gacy died the same way. John Wayne Gacy died. So he's the other serial killer, right? He's the one that was hiding bodies under his house in Indiana. Or was it Indiana? Yeah, I think it was Indiana.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
John Wayne Gacy died the same day Jeffrey Dahmer was baptized in prison. Does that just like explode your brain a little bit?
I did see, I jumped ahead because I saw the damn scene.
Oh, you did?
Before I watched it.
You're like, I just need to see this scene.
With spoilers, okay? And yeah, it's a pretty cool scene.
And that same day, so they're saying that John Wayne Gacy and Jeffrey Dahmer are somehow connected. I looked it up to see if it's true. It is true. And that same day, it was a solar eclipse, which I found interesting. And solar eclipses sometimes represent evil or evil being pulled away. Sometimes solar eclipses represent hidden power, deep emotions, shadows being exposed within yourself. But most of all, solar eclipses were known as like a transformation that can occur. So some people are like, did John Wayne Gacy die and like somehow be connected or reincarnate into like, nobody really knows. The theory though that's going around is like John Wayne Gacy died and a new serial killer was sort of reborn. I don't know. I didn't know that they were connected on days. That's very specific. My question is just being in paranormal and like energy doesn't lie. Like we know we've set up energetic highways of like communication. Are serial killers almost on their own wavelength of energy?
I would assume so.
Isn't that creepy? So. It's a creepy thought. Yeah.
I mean, who could do things that evil?
Ugh. Both of them. I mean, even like, John Wayne.
All of them.
Yeah. Well,
all of them.
John Wayne was with the kids and Jeffrey Dahmer. I didn't know that he had at the end. So like they say with serial killers, you have like highs and lows. So like your peak or your high is when you're like in your murder spree or whatever. And then you have your low. So that's where they like come up with the agenda of like, oh, this person's killing once a month, twice a month, whatever. But at the end, he went like berserk, had too many bodies in his house, couldn't get rid of them. And he had 2 bodies on ice in his bathtub. And he was showering over the bodies in his bathtub because he couldn't get rid of the bodies fast enough. And so then they started getting smells out of the house, I'm sure. My God. And I know some police, there were like 3 or 4 times the police came in. One time they went to the wrong house. And so that's how he got off the hook. And the other 2 times he told them it was his fish tank that smelled. And they just left. They just left.
I can't believe they bought that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's strange.
What? You know.
I know.
Lots of concerns.
Yeah, but like energetically, like talking about this on Paranormal before we go to the next subject is just like, I think that the apartment complex is torn down where this all happened at. It should be, Jesus Lord. But the energy still doesn't lie. And not even there. Like you think about investigating the cell that he was in or the location that he died in or, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't even have to energetically be the location that he was doing these like cruel, horrible things in. But I'm sure the land is tainted at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, evidence is just I think the thing that fascinates me with the serial killer stuff going over to paranormal is I truly believe that we're only skimming the surface with paranormal and investigating.
Yeah.
And I think that at some point, maybe it's going to take women getting involved. Maybe it's going to take better equipment with paranormal. But I think that we're going to eventually be able to solve murder cases using paranormal equipment.
Yeah. Through the spirit world.
Yeah, I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I think it needs to be taken more serious, though, at this point. There's a female in the background, and she, like, agreed with it.
It's really weird.
Your face, like...
What's really weird is I just thought of the word repent.
So do you think you have a witch
and
in the house, or what?
I literally almost say it. I literally almost just said it on the live, and I was like, don't do that. That's weird. And I was just like, repent. I was like, maybe it's
out of nowhere. Repent.
Repent. Yeah, I don't know. Weird.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, someone said it's Annabelle again. Can we not?
I did a spirit box session, and I think it's on TikTok. I asked the spirit box. I asked my spirit guides. I said, "What happens to energy like John Wayne Gacy after they cross over? Like, what happens to these people when they do all these horrible crimes? You know, like, do they? Is hell? Does this hell exist for them? Are they punished or something?" And my spirit guides came through and said, their energy is destroyed. To me, that sounds a lot worse than hell.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, they're not holding back. That's just
They're destroyed.
Yeah.
They're destroyed.
No, it was very casual. Like, yeah, we destroyed them. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's a good conversation.
They're destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wow.
Just Thursday.
So
It's
this
fine.
is interesting to me. And this, once again, the reason I wanted to do this part of the show or this part of the podcast is because I feel like this could definitely potentially rebuttal why everyone should not cancel serial killers. Because when people start learning patterns and, about serial killers and what they do psychologically, like analyzing them from psychological perspective, can we prevent this from continuing to happen, or can we see patterns in other people and call them out? And this started to happen with a potential, this is under pure speculation. It's a conspiracy, it's pure speculation. So we don't know if this is fact or not, but there is a new cannibal in town and he is currently on the loose. And basically he may have been,
you said that.
I'm sorry. The way
I look like that ghost right now. It's like,
I've missed you. I've missed doing these streams.
I'm sorry. I say really random
This is
stuff.
that moment where I'm
Anyway.
like, I've missed this. You know what I mean? Like, imagine how we would be filming on set. Imagine what our series would look like, guys, if it was Kat and I film. I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great. That's probably
fun.
That's probably why Zach doesn't want to sign us. He's like, no, they'll pass me. Like,
We're having too much fun.
Yeah.
We're having too much fun.
Don't worry, Zach. I'll never go to 30 seasons. You got that, boo. You got that. You're the king. I will never take that place from you. I'm done after 14. Okay.
Well, 30 seasons. That sounds exhausting.
My God.
I need a break.
At 30 seasons, I'll be dead. Okay. Like, there'll be nothing left of me. I will then become the ghost of the other side. You know what I mean?
You are the ghost.
I
You're
am.
investigating yourself. Literally.
Kat's like, Krystal, are you still here? Nope, go away. I'm not.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, I told you I quit.
I am tired.
I said go away. You're like, yes, that was so good. That was the best evidence. I like throw something because I'm mad, like a glass.
It's just permanent eye roll on the other side.
Oh,
It's
God.
just like so bad. It's fine.
Telling you, our series would be epic. I'm just saying. So no, but really, this is serious. There is a new cannibal possibly in town. But once again, I'm going to go back to this saying this is conspiracy, pure speculation. Armie Hammer, who is a actor. He's a well-known actor. He's like a very well-known, wealthy actor from like practically an aristocrat family. His family has been in generations of politics. And, they're literally worth billions. I looked it up online. So, if he is doing cannibalism off speculation and conspiracy, he is probably very, very protected if he's that well off financially. I mean, like, you're talking like way up there with the elites, talk about conspiracies, but it's true. So a lot of people say this is why he's able to get away with multiple murders and possible cannibalism. So it's an interesting story, and I wanted to talk about it. And at the end, I want to talk about the investigation behind it and why you should be safe, especially as a female. So basically, Armie, goes through separation, and he moves into like this abandoned hotel in Joshua Tree, California, which is outside of Palm Springs. It's like a few hours east of LA. And he says he's going to buy this abandoned hotel and renovate it with a few friends. And while he's living there, multiple people, mainly women, start going missing in the Joshua Tree area, and remains of multiple human bodies are found scattered around not only the small town, but in direct vicinity around this hotel that he's been staying at. So just for like a little backstory too, Joshua Tree, which is the town, has a population of 7,100. That's a small town. I mean, that's a small town. And it's in the middle of nowhere, Palm Springs desert. Like, if you haven't been out there, it's just literally the middle of nowhere. And that was as of the 2010 census, so it couldn't be that much more. You know what I mean? You're talking like Vegas is millions. I think we're at 8 million. When I first moved to Vegas in 2014, I think it was only like 1.5 million. Now we're literally at 8 million people. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're talking about having a population of 7,000. That's a small town. Everybody knows everybody's business. You know what I mean? So people are going missing still to this day, and remains are still being dug up and found. So the question is, why is Armie in heat, right? Why is this guy, if he's a successful actor, if his family's aristocrats and they have billions of dollars, why does he want to be a cannibal? You know what I mean? Well, all of a sudden in 2001 or 2000, I can't remember, 2020, 2021. Okay. Why are you laughing? Something wrong?
No, it's just like when you said, why does he want to be a cannibal? I was like, that's a really great question.
Why do you want to be a cannibal, Armie? What the
That's
fuck
actually
is wrong
a really
with you?
great question. Why? I just have a lot of concerns.
Why? Why are you eating people?
Why
Are
are
you
you
sick, F? God.
Why are you eating humans? This just stop.
You need therapy. God.
You got some trauma, boo. It's-
I'm vegetarian, so the thought of that is just completely repulsive at this point. So I was like, ugh.
Okay. Also, I'm just gonna say it because I've been wanting to say it, but I'm not
Please.
gonna get into detail. Y'all
Okay.
can Google this on your own.
Oh God.
Look up Dahmer and tattoos, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Ew, no, don't do it. No. Yeah, and don't.
No.
No. He says tattoos taste gross, is what he said.
What?
So it's a better reason to just go get a bunch of tattoos.
I'm gonna get tattooed from the face down. Everywhere. Don't mess with me.
Oh my God. It's also a way not to get sex trafficked either. They won't. You have a 60% less
Really?
chance of being sex trafficked if you have tattoos because you can be identified
Great.
that way.
Jeremiah,
So let's go get one on the neck.
We are starting on the forehead.
Yeah.
We're just working our way down. Okay.
Post Malone's got the idea. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. It's way ahead of us.
Kat and I are gonna go get neck tattoos together. You know what I mean?
If you know, you know.
Oh my God.
No. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's fine. So basically in 2020, 2021, Armie, who's this, famous actor, he has numerous ex-girlfriends and side chicks that he has dated. And they are releasing text message and DM conversations of Armie admitting to rapes, murder fascinations, cannibalistic ideologies, and things that he's done. And they have publicly released these screenshots on social media. They released these conversations publicly. Armie also went on the record on an interview in Jimmy Kimmel in 2020 and said that he was living in Joshua Tree at the abandoned hotel. So that's on the record that he was there. Yeah, that is creepy. It circles back around. You know what I mean? 3 people went missing in the area, to be exact, while he was staying at the hotel. Multiple sets of human remains were found scattered in the direct vicinity around the hotel. January of 2021, Instagram user House of Effie, which is one of his side chicks, released messages and DMs between her and Armie, and they were private messages that went on for months while he was married, by the way. While he was still married. So he had side chicks so that was one of the reasons this has come back up on social media again too, is he was being compared to Adam Levine. Although let's hope Adam's not, cooking ribs for dinner from people. You know what I'm saying? just went a little dark. You know what I'm saying? Jesus.
That took a hard right, Krystal.
Well,
I was like,
that's why I'm Adam's kind of a creep, but he's not chewing on people. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. Anyway, these private messages went on for months, and that's where they started releasing these private conversations, DMs, messages, all while they were married. The messages were about sexual fantasies, bondage, BDSM, which let's just say BDSM does not mean cannibalism. Can we just put that out there?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that's also a hard right. That's also a hard right.
I feel like we have to talk about that. I feel like
what's the
that's
safe
another
word
question.
for cooking my rib?
First question, why are you eating ribs? Second off, why are you a cannibal?
Oh my God.
But secondly, why do you No.
Stop.
No.
But this is one of the actual messages, and I posted the message in notes for you to see. I don't know if you saw it. But he's texting her, and he's saying they're gruesome text messages, and he's saying he wants to hold her beating heart in his hand and eat it while it's still beating. And he says that he killed an animal once and did it to an animal, and that's where the fantasies come from. And he in the text message thread, he says, I am 100% cannibalistic, and I have been. Once again, there's all speculation now, because that's why it's is it a conspiracy? People the text messages could have been edited or whatever. Maybe it wasn't him saying these things. Maybe they're trying to make him look bad. In the text message, it says that he enjoys consuming human blood. He enjoys homicide and harming people, creatures, animals, especially anyone who wants to be intimate with him. He wants to get permission while you're doing the deed to become a cannibal, which I feel my answer would be immediately no. Immediately no. Can I be a cannibal on you while we're in the bedroom? Immediately, no.
Did that work on somebody before?
I mean,
because that just. If so,
no.
that's messed up.
Dude. If so, we don't know anyways, Kat, because they are buried in the desert somewhere now. We're not going to know if somebody did it.
Because he ate them. That's messed up.
Your voice is cracking.
What?
Oh, your voice is cracking. In the DMs, this is also messed up. In the DMs, he also says that he knows this. So Arnie, the like actor, I'm just having a hard time that there's people that actually think about stuff like this. He says that Arnie says, I know a surgeon that would be willing to remove 2 of your ribs so that I could cook them and consume them. My first answer was, who's this demented surgeon? First of all, let's start there. I mean, if there's a surgeon out there doing that.
There's just a lot of questions. It's just opened up a lot of questions.
But also these were DMs while he was married, and so his wife did separate from him after all of this exposure happened. He was he was also set to film several movies. I looked that up online. He was supposed to be in a movie with J-Lo. J-Lo was probably like, he's not taking my rib, okay? He's not taking my baby back rib.
Please leave my ribs alone.
And he claims that he claims that him and Lionsgate decided to separate because there was just bad, publicity going on. And I'm sitting here like, is it the publicity or is it because you've actually been called out on all this stuff?
You eat people.
Isn't that gross though? The DMs that you, like I say, oh God. So anyway, he was living at the Ramsey 29 Hotel from June, July of 2020. And that's when 3 people vanished. So this is kind of the timeline to give you guys specifics. And then you kind of make your own judgment for it. June 16th, a woman named Erica Lloyd went missing and she was in Joshua Tree on vacation. Her car was found abandoned in Joshua Tree in the same area near the hotel. It was actually 10 miles exactly from the hotel. Her phone kept ringing for days, which meant someone had charged it and kept it on. And finally, on day 4, a man answered it saying that he found the phone abandoned on Cottonwood Drive, which is literally half a mile from the hotel, which is where Armie was staying. Remains were then found near where a few other people went missing, and they assumed it was the people that went missing, but it was completely different people. It wasn't even the people that went missing. It was completely different remains. So there's just a lot of whoever's doing this is burying them in the same vicinity, which is creepy. So more bodies, more remains just keep showing up. Erica's family ended up hiring a mining expert to survey the area because once again, we're talking about mines, we're talking about kind of a foresty, weird place. Like if you've been to Palm Springs, you just know what I'm talking about. Like it's just weird. And then there is there's like a forest national park next to where this is. So that's why they hired this mining expert to come out. Basically, they wanted to find out where Erica was and if she was, alive or if she could be found. So while this miner expert is out there trying to find Erica's remains, she's the one that disappeared on June 16th. He ends up going out in the desert and he finds a red bike, which is from one of the other people that was reported missing. This was like, I think it's a Hispanic male that was riding this bike and went missing. So when he found this bike, he cued in police. Police came in, they searched the area. And in the same area where the bike was, they found 2 more sets of human remains in the same area. But one of the sets did belong to the missing person with the red bike. But the 4th set of remains was a completely different person again. So they're just finding remains all around this hotel. It's just weird. So as of this year, 2022, what?
Why did I just think of skinwalkers?
I don't know. Maybe Arnie
don't think
is
they're out there.
Oh, I mean, skinwalkers definitely could be. It's a deserted area. It could be. Do you think Armie's a skinwalker? Do you think he transforms into a cheetah at night and gets hungry?
Look, you know what? Anything's possible with these crazies because I don't know why you want to eat people. So anything's possible.
Same, 100%.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Weird.
So Erica was still, therapy's cheaper than killing a person. You know what I'm saying? Erica was still missing as of January 21st, 2022, and then her remains were found. But now there's currently 6 to 8 cases of open persons / missing persons remains in the area. So residents in this area are like completely in fear of their life, and they really believe it could be a local serial killer. The girl that leaked the DM's House of Effie, she leaked the cannibalistic conversations or whatever. She also came out and claimed that she was beat by Armie and basically held captive for a course of 4 hours. And he was basically acting out some sort of rape fantasy where he beat her feet so bad that she couldn't leave or escape. Now, the interesting part is, like, if that's a legit thing, I'm thinking, like, then he's capable of anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got on Google because I wanted to make sure this was legit. So if you Google his name, Armie, what's his last name? Hang on a second.
Armie. Hang on.
Hammer. Armie Hammer. If you Google Armie Hammer and rape case LA, it will literally pop up that the rape case is still under investigation in LA. So it's true. It is still under investigation. It's an open current rape case. September
2nd, Armie Hammer rape case still under investigation.
Yep.
Wow.
I know. So anyway, Armie denied all of the allegations, but he will only release statements through his lawyer, and that you can also Google that. I think I Googled rape investigation of Armie Hammer LA, and the case is still under investigation. Anyway, the girl House of Effie on Instagram released another statement. This was kind of like her final statement that she had released publicly. And the statement said that he and his friends had done worse than anyone or anything had even known publicly, anything worse than anything she'd ever posted, and that justice would be served. And she said she knows more. My only opinion is, like, for her exposing him for all this, I hope she doesn't go missing.
I hope she doesn't either.
So, wow.
That's weird.
Yeah, and I linked a couple of other articles which just talk about how, you know, his family has so much money, guys, like it's in the billions. So the question is, where is he at right now? Well, like I said, he was supposed to be going through all these like big movies, like with Jennifer Lopez and stuff. And he basically moved to the Cayman Islands and he's selling timeshares because he's trying to lay low. And I'm like, I don't know if you can lay low from all this. This is a lot of bodies to lay low from. You know what I'm saying? But it's like two ways. You have two ways you can look at this. Either on one side, he's completely guilty. And it's like, Jesus. And, you know, it's kind of hard to say he's not, considering the rape case that's open against him currently in LA. But on the flip side, if he's innocent, dude, this guy's whole life has just been slaughtered through social media.
I feel like this is a lot for it to not be true.
Well, yeah. And he's only releasing statements through his attorney. Like, you look at Adam Levine, who, like, is also accused of cheating, and he, like, hurried up and rushed and just put a public statement on his Instagram story really fast. You know what I mean? Like, if it were me and I was trying to save my reputation, I wouldn't wait to put in, you know, a statement out through an attorney. To me, that smells a little suspicious. I'd be like, Jesus, what the hell is wrong with these people? Like, no, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It goes either way. Paranormal aspects. You know, there's a lot of people online that have been talking about going to Joshua Tree, going to this area, you know, this hotel. I looked it up online. You can stay there. It's open right now. You can stay at the actual hotel. I don't know why you'd want to be honest. Like, if we're talking about a current serial killer or possibly his friends involved, like, you don't want to die. You know what I mean? Like, and this is why I want to talk about, like, yeah, I think you could probably solve cases through paranormal 100%. However, especially being female in this industry, that's another reason I've had such high requirements for my series with Kat and Elfie, is we need security because we are female. You know, that is just the truth behind it, is we can't go in like Zach and the guys because they're protected from just being themselves. We are girls. Girls are smaller. Girls can be taken over more easily. Thank God I have... You know, our security team is veterans, thank God. So they'll be going with us everywhere. They're huge guys that, you know, literally practiced in the war. So we're safe with them.
Built like tanks.
Oh, yeah. Our head security is, God, how tall? 6'7"? Like 6'7". He's huge. Literally. Go ahead and try to get through him. I think if somebody tried to get him, he would still get you. He would. He's huge. But, I mean... I don't know. Just be safe. You know what I mean? Like, I do think ghost hunting is a huge avenue through the serial killer side, which is why I don't want it to be canceled. I just think it's silly. I understand that the families are hurt, but here's the thing. Whether it's on TV or not, they're always going to be in pain. And that's the same for my mom. Like, this person that got my mom is never going to go to justice. She's probably still out there doing the same thing to other people. That was why I spent so much money trying to bring her to justice, so that I was hoping I could stop her from hurting other people. And I couldn't. And for that, I feel like a failure. And so that heaviness will always be on my back, whether it's publicized or not. So I really do understand what the victims' families are going through. But luckily for them, Dahmer was put in jail and Jesse did him a favor, I guess. You know what I mean? But it's a highly publicized thing when you're talking about someone doing these horrible things. And it's a terrible, unfortunate event that people have to be tied to it permanently.
Yeah.
But I told Kat this the other day. I am assuming out there somewhere, we don't know who Jack the Ripper is, but at some point they're going to figure it out through DNA. At some point.
Yep.
And then his great-great-granddaughter is going to be sitting here getting all this publicity. Like, great. It's just what I wanted to be tied to was this idiot. But, like,
right.
you can't walk on eggshells because her grandfather was in, or her, fourth great-grandfather was alive in 1773 or whatever. I know it was like 1880 something.
It happened.
I am being dramatic for a purpose. Yeah,
right.
I'm being dramatic because it's just like you just can't be, I don't know.
You can't avoid it. You can't avoid it.
It's just part of our history.
It happened.
Yep.
It happened, and people are going to talk.
Yep.
And even if there wasn't a show about it.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It's very true. Social media spreads like a wildfire anyways, though. I think that stresses people out. You know what I mean? So.
And it moves so quick.
It does. And it's dark stuff. But, here we are all having a conversation about it because there are people out there that like dark stuff. We are those people.
Why am I laughing?
Because we talk to the dead. I mean, that's literally what we do. And most of the people that we talk to on the other side didn't have the best deaths either. You know what I mean? So I guess if you're going to cancel serial killers, you might as well just cancel paranormal and all of it together. And you better not do that because this has been a long 12 years of my life trying to get this damn series signed.
No.
I'm like, no, it's not funny. Yeah.
No.
Well, that was good. That was a good first string back.
That was good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it.
Feels good to be back, guys.
Yeah, sorry we've been gone. I hope you understand. I'm better. Don't worry. I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. I just want good people in my life. That's all. Mm-hmm. And I have to make sure of who I'm allowing in my energy field and who I'm not. And there's a lot of people that don't deserve to be in my energy field. And I'm just being very cognizant of that. And to the future, my ultimate goal is always to get the series signed. I just don't have the energy in me for a fight right now because it's always a fight. And I'm tired, and I just hope that you guys respect that. So my real only goal right now is pushing TikTok content, pushing, the podcast. That's going to be my priority, and just healing. I need to heal. I really want to move out of Vegas. I think I need grass, and I need trees, and I need seasons. And it's interesting because part of this death and rebirth process that I went through, I told Kat this, when I was like 25 or 26 when I was on Paranormal Challenge, my ultimate goal was like film, move to LA. Even before that, even when I was in a band, and Kat, you've probably had this same, you have your band right now currently. My goal is like move to LA, be famous, like get an expensive car, live in a big house. I did that. I got to do that. I worked for the studios. I lived in a penthouse. I had a driver. I had multiple assistants living in LA. I was important. I got to do that stuff. I already did that stuff in my 20s. And my parents died. And all of a sudden, that stuff doesn't really matter to me anymore. I don't need to live in Los Angeles. I don't need to live in a mansion. I need a big closet because I have a lot of clothes. But
that's a must.
I don't need a Lamborghini. I feel like with my parents dying, I've been stripped back down to the person that I was raised as. And I want to meet someone and be in a relationship with someone and their family accepts me as theirs. I don't have family now. You know what I mean? So I hope that my next relationship, whoever he is out there floating around in the abyss, will take me in and I get to be a part of his family because I'm literally like a lone sheep now. And I want to move. I want to be somewhere where there's trees and grass. And I used to hike. I want to go hiking. And I grew up on ATVs and dirt bikes. I want to do that again. You know what I mean? Like I want to get back to my roots. My parents dying pushed me back to my roots. I don't need the lavish lifestyle. I don't want to live in a big city anymore, to be honest. I'm in Vegas and I grew up in a city like a suburb of Denver, but there was probably like 150,000 people. So it's not tiny. Like I couldn't live in Joshua Tree with 10,000 people. Like that's just too small.
Right.
Don't you think that's too small?
Well, it is. And, cannibals. So
And cannibal. Don't move where there's no. But so I want to go back to like, a suburb, a small town, not small town. Like when I say small town, I'm not talking about 10,000 people, but I'd like to go somewhere with like 100,000, 200,000 people again. I want to feel that connection to the community again. It's time for change. It's time for change. So my goal, and I work on the West Coast a lot. I just filmed 2 major projects in LA. So I would assume I'll probably end up having like an apartment or something like that here in Vegas or LA. And then, but I want to be closer to Kat and Elfie really bad. Especially if the series gets signed, it just doesn't make sense for me. I'm the one that's on the West Coast. They're on the East Coast. Kat's in New Hampshire. Elfie's in PA. So I've been looking at houses on the eastern side of PA and the eastern side of New York. I've narrowed it down to a handful of cities. I'd like to fly out there with Kat. And Kat and I are going to road trip it through these cities to see where I like, the energy the most. I would only be like 4 hours from Kat. Elfie'd be like barely an hour from me. And and for filming, it just makes sense. There's so much more haunted stuff on the East Coast. We could film together for TikTok all the time.
Yeah.
I could call Kat and be like, dude, see you in 4 hours. She's like, all right, I'll be here in 4 hours.
There.
Yeah, whatever.
Yep. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we could go to Salem for the day, for God's sake.
Yeah, my favorite place.
So yeah, that's the goal.
It's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be here soon.
So yeah, just priorities have changed. Things have changed. It's just shocking to me that my parents aren't going to be here to see me for my wedding, for if I have kids and I start. It's very strange. And I'm a firm believer, though, in past lives. I believe in reincarnation. I believe, we plan our paths before we incarnate. I have so much to share with you guys about the other side now that my mom's there. I'm pissed that she's there without me, but like, I have direct communication to the other side. I'm not even kidding you. Ask Kat. Mm-hmm. I get the best information now, don't I? Like I ask a question and she gives it to me. Like I know what's going on. Like our connection is hardcore. Like I mainly get my feedback and information in dreams, but I just can't wait to share all that with you guys because I really feel like once I can share everything I've learned about the other side through my mom, no one's going to be afraid of the other side. Everyone's going to understand that is home. This isn't home. We're here on a very temporary journey. And I wrote in a very hard path for myself with my mom being murdered. And I wrote it in on purpose. And that's why I have to figure it out. And here I am figuring it out.
You're doing the thing, girl.
Yeah.
You're doing the thing.
Next step. So next week will be Elfie. Can you remember the topic? I can't remember the topic with Elfie. I think it's like mermaids or something weird. There was some really good topics, I think, or maybe crypto. There was something I saw online. I was like, we need to do it. We need to do a topic on this.
Yeah, something like that.
And so Elfie will be next week. And yeah. It's good to be back, guys. We missed you.
Great.
And thank you guys for all the they've been downloading it since we've been gone. Jesus. Been gone for 5 months and you guys are still downloading. I love you guys. You're the best.
You're the best.
Yep. Make sure you're following us on TikTok. Tomorrow, I will be editing and uploading this podcast to the new channel. I will edit the audio and it will be posted as a podcast on all major platforms, which is, Spotify, Apple, Deezer, iHeartRadio, you name it. We're everywhere, which is why we're getting so many amazing downloads. Next week, we'll be back with more info. And thank you guys for being so awesome. Make sure you follow us on social media. And as always, we will catch you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Back from the dead.